back to the channel, you guys. So we're actually going to be continuing this I guess it's going to be a full nutrition series at this point, child. Might as well. So last week we were talking about how we debunked all of our nutrition myths. We had to unlearn what we thought we knew about food. Basically understood where our current guidance as far as health, nutrition, the food pyramids, and all of that stuff came from. We learned how the U.S. went from eating mostly whole natural foods to being a place of mass food production and all of that good stuff. So if you guys have missed that video, I'm gonna try to link it on here. I'm still learning how to do that, so y'all bear with me, but I'm gonna try to have it so y'all can go ahead and click on that video and watch it and check it out. But today we're going to, like I said, continue that conversation. So we're actually going to be talking about macronutrients, understanding what they are, what they do for your body, and then also how intuitive eating can play a huge part in helping you ditch the diet and still hit those weight loss goals. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, keep watching this video. So to go ahead and dive right in there, let's go ahead and define what essential nutrients are. So basically, essential nutrients are nutrients that your body needs in order to function properly, but our bodies cannot either make enough on its own or cannot make it at all. So we have to get it from outside sources. And so for your body, the three most important macronutrients that you guys need to understand how they work in order to effectively lose weight and really optimize your nutrition is protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Now, I want to go ahead and lay these out by order of importance because how much you eat of each nutrient does matter. So number one is going to be protein. These are your essential cell building blocks for your tissues. You can find proteins in foods like meats, fish, eggs, nuts. They help drive your metabolism. They help support your immune system. They aid in energy production and also muscle contraction. So that's why you see everybody talking about, as soon as you say, I want to gain muscle, I'm trying to put on some muscle, they're like, protein load, eat your protein, protein shakes, protein. Because protein helping out the muscle contraction is what's going to help the muscles grow. So if your goal is to put on muscle, then definitely protein is queen, okay? Protein also acts to help transport and store nutrients, as well as being a hormone messenger. So things like how when insulin is a protein, and when it fires out and it tells your body to release glucose out of your blood, that's the proteins in your body acting as a messenger to tell your body what it should be doing to regulate itself. The main thing that you need to be concerned about when it comes to proteins is finding a clean source. That is the main thing, especially now when it comes to how food production is in America. If you've been following what's happening lately, a lot of companies and food manufacturers are heavily turning to technology to grow our food. Like they have live salmon growing out in the Midwest instead of out in the Atlantic where it should be. They found ways to clone eggs, to clone chickens, to clone things like that to meet the needs of the people in the population, as far as people consume a lot of these meats, especially chicken. So, you know, when the supply and demands get kind of out of whack, manufacturers have to compensate for it. So, like I said, find the clean sources. And then also, don't just use animal meats as your only protein source. Nuts and seeds are an amazing protein source as well, and it comes with a little bit of carbs and a little bit of fiber as well. So you get a couple little punches, a couple nutrient punches in there at one time. Next up, we have fats. Now, fats needs to go through a little bit of a rebranding. Y'all been trying to cancel fats forever. I'm not gonna let you do it no more. Fats are not bad. By eating healthy fats, you are not going to gain fat. You're actually going to lose fat. And that's a myth that we had debunked in last week's episode. Like I said, check it out. So to understand what fats do for your body, fats are your energy storage source. You can find fats in things like avocados, nuts, seeds, and oils as well. Fat is what your body uses actually to get you through and give you enough energy to get through like your everyday movements. Fat is what your body uses as its energy source, even when you're at rest. So me sitting here on this couch right now, the energy it takes for me to talk on this YouTube camera, my body is getting that energy from its fat storage, not from carbohydrates, not from proteins. But one of the most important things that fats does is hormone regulation. Ladies, I'm talking to us especially. Hormone regulation is key when it comes to maintaining and controlling your weight. Think about it this way. Think about if you ever had a time where you were on birth control and you took it, however form you took it, and you gained weight from it. And the reason because your body has now an excess of hormones in your body that it doesn't necessarily know what to do with it or how to put it into proper use. And so when your body does not know what to do with something, what does it do? It holds on to it as fat. And even outside of weight, hormones have an influence on every aspect of your life. Talking about your sexual health, your mood, your appetite, and even your growth and development, as well as your mental health as well. So the goal here with your hormones is to keep things as balanced as humanly possible when it comes to your hormone levels. If you guys want to have a whole episode on hormone and hormone regulations, then let me know down below in the comment section. You know, we might just go ahead and have a topic at some point, because that's a really big one for women to have, especially. So table that, y'all, table that. But outside of having a huge effect on your hormones, our fat is here to protect us. It's here to keep our organs, especially our major organs around inside of our core. It's here to protect that, and it's here to act as a natural barrier from all of these outside things that we have to come in contact with, from pollution, from chemicals, from whoever knows. Now, the main reason why fats became such like a huge target when it comes to health media is because there have been debates for years about whether or not saturated fats has an impact on somebody's risk of, you know, developing heart disease later on and different cardiovascular issues. And even to this day, the studies are pretty much mixed. For the most part, there is no definite study saying that saturated fat has a correlation to somebody's chance of getting some kind of heart disease or heart risk. So that's, you know, the jury's still out on that one. That's for saturated fats. When we're talking about unsaturated fats, typically there has been some good feedback as far as its benefits for your body. So basically, unsaturated fat is just fat that has loosely packed molecules within it. So it's more into the science and the weeds of why the names are different. The main thing is you want to have healthy unsaturated fats within your diet. And these can come from sources like olive oil, peanut oil, avocados. I'm personally a fan of avocado. I put avocado in everything. Okay, smoothies especially, I would throw some avocado in there just for some healthy fats, because it helps you feel more satiated longer as well. So, you know, nice little pro tip for y'all. And the reason why especially you want to have unsaturated loose molecule fats is because it helps to prevent blood clotting. That's the whole thing. Our biggest fight out here is not, you know, all these different diet culture trends and whatever else. Inflammation is our #1 killer. Inflammation in the body, depending on where it shows up, is how we get certain diseases and certain symptoms. So the root of it all is the body is inflamed. There is some kind of outside foreign source in here that body does not know how to use properly. So its natural response is to be inflamed, to shoot out certain blood cells, to try to attack whatever this foreign thing is. But depending on if we're constantly consuming these certain things, you know, too much of a bad thing can lead to some bad things. Now, the main caution I want you guys to have with fats is mainly the oils that we use, because you're going to get most of your fats outside of like fish and the fatty parts of meat and things like that. The oil that we use to cook with makes a huge difference, and those are usually the fats that can play against us, good and bad. Not all oils are made the same. Some oils are made with plant products and by ways that our body does not have the best reaction to. And let alone when you cook it, because when you cook certain oils at certain temperatures, it can become kind of toxic. And so we'll cover the best cooking oils to use in a later video. But the main thing I would say is that if you guys want a quick recommendation on some good oils to use, olive oil, favorite, grapeseed oil, avocado oil, and peanut oil can all be some good alternatives that you guys can use starting today, and use that in your kitchen when you're cooking instead of typical vegetable oil and corn oil and canola oil. Y'all stop using those oils. If y'all don't take nothing else from this video, stop using vegetable oils. It's not even vegetables in it. It's not even vegetables in it, and it's not good for you. Stop using it. Now let's go into our third macronutrient, which is going to be our carbohydrates. This is your body's energy and fuel source. This is why it's important for those who may be following a keto diet or a super either no carb or super low carb diet. My only thing is that your body needs carbs. It needs to have a certain amount of carbs daily just to function and give you guys enough energy to move out the day just in general. So with any diet change you guys decide to make, do not cut out carbs completely. Do not. It's not going to make it better for you. You may lose weight faster in the beginning, but it's always going to come back and you're not going to feel as good about it. Like folks, I think I've heard about people who've done like the no carb keto diets having like some kind of keto flu. Okay, a diet should not be causing you to get sick and catch a flu if it's going to be making you get healthier and lose weight. I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about how you can time when you eat your carbs during the day to make sure you're better optimized for energy. But that kind of goes right into our intuitive eating topic. So let's go ahead and run right in it then. So basically, what is intuitive eating? Intuitive eating is simply listening to your body and understanding your body's needs. So intuitive eating does not require you to count calories. It does not require you to have a very limiting diet. It does not require you to be miserable and starting to hate food and wanting to go back to eating all the fun foods, the burgers and the fries and the whatevers. Because when you're eating intuitively, you're able to have all your favorite foods, but in ways that are going to be best for your overall health. So how does that look? Let's go into it. Now, a part of how you can implement intuitive eating, there's like a little bit of like therapy that goes into it. Like you really have to understand where our food habits come from. Like I know with me personally, growing up, like at first, when you're young, it's just proximity. You know, everybody is eating the same foods. We're all doing the same things. Everybody is happy. We're having a good time. So we associate these certain foods with being positive because of the experience we've had while eating these foods. But then as you get older, it turns into a response to trauma. We're trying to compensate for emotions that we're feeling in one area, and food does release certain chemicals and hormones in the body that when you enjoy it, it makes you feel jovial, it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel up. I'm gonna give you guys some key tips on how you can start to implement more intuitive eating styles into your life. Tip number 1 is focus on eating nutrient-dense foods from all 3 macronutrient sources and finding a balance within them. Now, there's 2 points in that statement now. Nutrient-dense. This is for your calorie counters out there, okay? The main reason why I don't recommend my clients or anybody else to do a strict calorie counting diet is because it takes away of you really learning your body. So the thing with calories is that your calories is just basically how much energy is this food going to give your body. That's all calorie counting is. But the trick of it is when it comes to food production and marketing and things like that, people they will put low calorie this and low that on the packaging. So you're thinking, okay, low calories, in order to lose weight I need to be in a calorie deficit. Yes, but you also need to be eating the right foods as well. So say you have like a honey bun, that's like 430 calories. But then over here you have like a full meal, whether it be a nutrient-packed smoothie where you have the yogurt, the avocados, the flax seeds, the nuts, the oat milk, or whatever you want to put in there. And that can actually, if you ran your smoothie ingredients through a calorie tracker, smoothies are not all low calorie foods depending on what you put in them. So if you put like blueberries and avocados and all of that in there, the calorie count just went up. So where that honey bun could have been 400 calories, your smoothie could easily be 600. But because the honey bun is lower calories, it could be like a little trick of the mind to be like, oh, but I'm cutting out 200 calories over here, so the honey bun can't be that bad of a choice. But what is in the honey bun is what really matters. all that's in that smoothie, even though it's high, it could be considered to be high calorie, is nutrient dense. And everything that's in that smoothie, your body can actually use to help function, give it energy, have your hormones balanced, everything like that. So you want to eat with your body's reaction in mind. Tip number 2 is pay attention to when you are hungry and when you are full. This can come with a little bit of training. You have to really train yourself to know when am I hungry? Because sometimes our bodies can really like play a trick on our mind. Are you really hungry? Or are you just bored? Or are you just upset? Or are you just happy? Really understanding what is causing our bodies to feel this way, and whether or not our body is truly signaling to us that it's time for us to get some energy because we're like depleting. That makes all the difference. And then also knowing when to go ahead and put the fork down as well. The one thing I've noticed, and I heard somebody else say it on a YouTube video, I forgot who I was watching. I'm so sorry, love. I would have gave you a shout out if I remember who. I just be, the algorithm does everything for me. But I was watching somebody's YouTube video, and she made a point that related to me so heavily, because I do the exact same thing. But it's like when it comes to our plates, we will put a certain amount of food on our plate, and then if we don't eat all the food on the plate, it's just like this real uneasy feeling, like it's not done. The plate is not done, and I have to finish my food. I don't know, that comes from like childhood, where mama was like, you ain't finna leave the table until you finish your plate. That was my experience. So neither here or there, that was yours. But I think that really plays into our psyche of why you feel the need to, for one, fill up our plates, and then you can't leave until everything is cleared out because you don't want to be wasteful or seem to be ungrateful for having this meal. So that's a real thing that even I had to overcome. And when she said it, I was like, you know what? That's exactly what it is, because let it be a bag of chips, and it's like a full bag of chips. I have to literally have to take however many chips I want out the bag, put it on a separate plate, paper towel or whatever, and put the bag up. There is no holding the bag in my hand on the couch while I'm eating and be like, oh, I'm only gonna eat but so many chips. No, I'm not. I'm going to clear the bag. I'm going to touch the bottom. So that's one trick that I had to do for myself. It's just making myself portion my meals out, portion my snacks out. That way I don't have to worry about not finishing the plate. My plate is finished, but then I don't feel guilty about it as well. Tip number 3, y'all, do not deprive yourself of your favorite foods. Like I said, this is not going to be a thing where you have to cut out everything that you love. Yes, you're going to have to tailor it back. You're going to have to live in moderation. Let's say that you've been doing good and you've been eating clean, you've been consistent with working out, and one day you're out and about and you just want to have a donut. You just want to have a nice, good bakery donut with all the trimmings and the toppings and everything on it, but you don't want to throw off your diet. Y'all, eat the donut. One donut is not going to make or break your life. I promise you. Scout's honor is not going to break your life. The whole thing here is to figure out balance. You don't want to overconsume things that are not going to be beneficial for you, but you also just don't want to be living in a space where everything that used to be fun for you can't be fun no more because now you're trying to embrace your better self or whatever. So allow yourself to have that piece of slice. Allow yourself to go out with friends. Allow yourself to have a drink here and there. A glass of wine is my favorite, for a Friday night or a Wednesday afternoon. It really just depends. But allow yourself to live. This is supposed to be a lifelong journey. The diets should not last forever. The diet should be there to help you establish good habits, and after that, you are moving out of, habit at that point. So yeah, with all that being said, y'all, the main thing is that still allow yourself to enjoy foods, but just be smart about how you eat them as well. Tip number 4, and I feel like I say this all the time, but experiment. I always am going to tell you guys when you're starting out to change your diet, to have fun. There's so many different like types of cuisines and foods out here in this beautiful world for us to be limiting ourselves. So explore. If you want to try, you know, Mediterranean, you want to try sushi, you want to try Jamaican one day, it's whatever you want to do. But it goes back to before, for that last point, point number 3, is that you don't want to deprive yourself. Keep everything within balance. And then once you truly understand like how to time out your meals and when you can eat certain macronutrients, when it becomes a breeze to travel, to do whatever, and still stay on point for your goals. Tip number 5 is not necessarily doing with intuitive eating, but I found it to be very helpful when it comes to my own personal journey, and that's going to be nutrient timing. So this is going to be where basically knowing how carbs and your proteins and your fats work is going to help you, like I said, understand when to eat certain foods. So let's say, for example, for me, for my day, because I understand that my body needs carbs. Carbs is an energy source. For me, I like to have carbs earlier in the day. So I might have a cereal for breakfast or some kind of breakfast sandwich, whatever like that, a wrap. Or I might have some carbs during lunch. But I have it earlier in the day. That way, my body has time throughout the day to use all that energy, to use all those calories that I have just consumed, and to help those things burn off. So I do that. And then outside of that, when it comes to proteins and fats, I follow like a calendar window of doing intermittent fasting, and simply because it helps me to stay on track and to not over consume and overeat myself. So usually I will follow a schedule. So my window is typically between 9 to 7 during the day. Sometimes it's 10 to 7 during the day. But I use that with intuitive eating to kind of help me moderate how I eat. So I get up pretty early, y'all. I'm one of those early risers. I love being up early in the morning. So I'm up early, either I'm working out or I'm working on some content or working on the business or whatever like that. And I may not get hungry, or some days I do get hungry. Like this morning, I was hungry right when I got up and did not know why, but I knew that was not true hunger. It was just my body like really waking up. So I really didn't eat breakfast today until like 9:30, 10 o'clock, give or take, something like that. And then from there, depending on how my day goes, like I know for me, if I'm out here busy ripping and running and working and doing 1,000 things, I'm not going to be thinking about stopping to eat lunch or stopping to do whatever. But me also being intuitive and knowing that my body at some point is going to crash out, I kind of start feel like my energy starting to kind of like waver down. I'm like, okay, I need to go ahead and eat something now. So, and even that may not be like a big meal. It may not even have a whole lot of carbs in it, depending on what I ate that day in general. And then I have me a nice little snack, nice little small meal. That way my body, I know, has what it needs to keep me going. It's until your body is able to be back in a place where it can regulate those hormones to tell you when to eat and to tell you when you're full and things like that. Like I said, just knowing how your body is and knowing the cues, feeling when you're starting to get a little bit tired, not waiting until you're starving to eat, because then that's the time when you make all kinds of reckless decisions, picking whatever is closest to you, things like that. So that's really what intuitive eating is. Intuitive eating is just self-reflection with outward eating. But in all of this, guys, when it comes to fitness and health, this is not a one-size-fits-all journey. Everybody's journey, everybody's experience is going to be different. Some can be similar, but they're all going to be different. So that's why I praise you guys so much to experiment when it comes to your workouts, when it comes to your food, when it comes to nutrition, because what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa as well. But I am here to give you guys a good foundation of information and knowledge. That way you guys can make things work out for yourselves. So you guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode. I hope you guys have found this video to be informative, educational, hopefully a little entertaining. So yes, if you have not already, go ahead and hit a like button on this video. Comment down below what your biggest takeaway was from this episode and what things that you want to see us cover and talk about in any future episodes as well. And if you have not already, You make me beg, but I will do it happily every single episode. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell as well. That way, every time a video comes out, you will be the first to know. And with that, you guys, remember to always keep it moving.